ton on quarterbacks. Jim, you want to start there, and then we'll kind of, I guess, dive right into like receivers. You can kind of talk about some pairing, and we'll split it up, but we'll kind of like merge the two together.
So I mean, if we're going up top, I mean, the guy that is just on the FU tour of the century right now is Aaron Rodgers. I mean, it's going to pair in well with, me liking Aaron Jones, me liking Devontae Adams, me just liking that whole Packers situation. And I mean, he's just on another level this year. I mean, he's turning absolute no-name guys like Robert Tonyan into like guys that people are like gonna want to play this week on fantasy, right? Like I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna go back to Robert Tonyan. I had some, I profited off of him while I could with in a nice little showdown win with some old Bobby Tonyan, but I just can't get back there. But I mean, Rodgers is just, he's throwing the ball a lot. When they're down there on the goal line, he throws the ball, right? He's got a little bit of a rushing upside. He could get it in there. People are going to be paying up. There's not a lot of like super expensive people this week, but there's a lot of like higher price people where, people are going to want to play, Madison and Henry together, right? And then like some of those higher price guys, and they're not really going to be able to pay $7,500 for Aaron Rodgers.
But, especially Rodgers and Adams. Like if you're going to go there,
Exactly. And the retort to the Aaron Jones thing is that when Devontae Adams does play, his expected fantasy points go way down because a lot of those targets and a lot of that stuff goes to Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams could have played the week before the bye. They're coming off the bye. I mean, he's going to be ready to go. So Aaron Rodgers probably going to be my highest owned quarterback. I like Cam at 65 going up against Denver. Again, had a little mini bye because he tested positive for COVID. He's going to be back. And then I really don't like playing this guy because I just he's got such a punchable face. But like we talked about it a little bit already, the Vikings, right? Kirk Cousins has been, I know, right? But look, I think the game's going to be a shootout too. I want to try and get as much exposure to this game as possible. Matt Ryan has just not looked right, and Kirk Cousins has looked very, very well. He's been throwing the ball well, right? It also goes well with the two receivers I want to play, both Thielen and Jefferson with him. It's an expensive stack, but I can get there. And then one that you guys are probably going to be like, what did I smoke before this?
I already am after the Kirk Cousins call, but please.
So I'm only playing this guy with a stack, right? And it's Nick Foles. $5,800.
No, I don't think it's weird at all, my man. Yeah, I got him on my list too.
I got Nick Foles. You can pair him with a $3,000 Darnell Mooney and Allen Robinson, and you can pretty much go get whoever else you want to after that. We look for those weird plays. Based on his snap and opportunity rate, Mooney has basically supplanted Miller. And like we said, this game is going to be a shootout. It's going to be one of those games that I'm personally going to be targeting, that everyone's going to go to the Atlanta game. Everyone's going to go want to game stack that game. Like, I'm game stacking this game. Like, you can play Mooney and Robinson with Foles, and then you could run it back with Mike Davis and DJ Moore.
Yeah. Look at this. Foles has 42 pass attempts in his last two games, and he had 29 pass attempts in the second half he came in on the first game.
Here's what I
mean, the volume, Nagy, he trusts Foles to drop back and throw, which he didn't quite do with Trubisky, right? They're going to be throwing the ball like crazy.
But for 42 attempts, 12 points is what he's average. I get it. He was on my list earlier in the day.
But all it takes is converting some of those to touchdowns, right?
Yeah, and we're playing Carolina. Okay, let's not forget that.
That's true.
And he played the Bucks last week and the Colts the week before. Two strong defenses.
Yeah.
And the 12 points not getting the touchdown conversion. starts to make a little sense. I think against Carolina, Foles has that plus offensive line grade this week too. I think he's going to be standing back there with some time.
Yep.
And like you said, Jim, the Allen Robinson hookup, I think that's the one this week.
Yeah, and then like I said, I like pairing him with Mooney at $3,000 because he's $3,000, right?
Yeah.
So some guys that I'm not playing, I like some other pieces of this game, but I'm off Lamar in this Philly game. 7,700. I'd just rather pay down $200 and pay for Aaron Rodgers. If Lamar doesn't do something with his legs, this hasn't been great. And then probably Big Ben I'm off too. It's not a great matchup versus Cleveland. I think they're going to probably try and run the ball a little bit. Cleveland's got a pretty good pass rush this year. And Cleveland's 4-1. It's rather like shocking. It's the first time they've been 4-1 since 1994. Which, Joey was in not even walking yet, I don't think. But
I was 3.
Oh, okay. So you were walking. That's good. So
I knew the Browns were terrible at 3 years old.
Yeah. So Ben is a guy I'm just kind of off this week, and then I'm probably gonna go away from my guy Burrow this week, even though he's 5,400. Playing Indianapolis. I don't think they're gonna get a ton of plays. Indianapolis is gonna try and slow the ball down, run the ball like we said with Taylor. So that's kind of where I'm going.
Yeah, with that noodle arm Rivers. So
yeah, dude.
Joe, do you want to go?
Yeah. So yeah, paying up. If I'm paying up, I'm going Rodgers. I feel like I got to have at least one Rodgers-Adams stack. But my favorite people I want to go with this week is Matt Stafford and doing Detroit Lions stacks. Going against Jacksonville. Jacksonville's defense is that bad. Miles Jack is the only good player on that defense, and he's the only player that can cause havoc. True. So I think Matt Stafford this week, with Golladay, possibly some Marvin Jones, possibly some Amendola, possibly some Hawkinson. There's just too many options. That's what scares me with stacks with Stafford, but Stafford's one of those guys. You can even play him sold this week, and he might have 25-plus points, and he's going to go really low owned because he has not had a good season.
Yeah, the only thing with Stafford is that if you're looking at what it really takes to win you a tournament, you probably need 30 to 40 out of your quarterback. Mm-hmm. Matt Patricia still wants to run the ball 25 times with Adrian Peterson. Yeah. I don't get it.
But the good thing is Stafford's been hitting his floor, 17 points twice in a row, 18.5 and 23 last week. And the upside's way higher this week than he's had. If there's a week for Stafford to go 30 points, I think this could be the one. Okay. He's throwing touchdowns, right? When they get in the red zone, their run game gets shut down, and he has to throw the ball and make stuff happen. So Stafford's been doing that.
Yep.
So I do like Stafford this week. My other guy I really like is Fitzmagic. I'm just scared that everyone's going to be really hyped on him after the Niners last week. But, we'll see. But he's going against the Jets. Fitzpatrick, let's see, he's thrown – he was 30 points last week, and it wasn't, weird. He had 26 the week before, 25, 27. Fitzpatrick is throwing the hell out of the ball. So I love me some Fitzpatrick Parker stacks and some Williams stacks as well. One person I'm not going to go with, though, is Gesicki. He's let me down too much this year. I feel like Fitzmagic just doesn't like throwing to him. He's only getting 5 to 4 targets in a game sometimes. I just think Fitzmagic really likes to go to the outside to his X and his Z. So I'm just fading them.
They're playing the Jets, okay?
I know.
Who the absolute dusty fart Jordan Reed, the walking concussion, had 2 touchdowns against. That's all I'm saying.
I know. I just don't think Fitzpatrick likes throwing the tight ends. Some quarterbacks just love it. I just don't think Fitzpatrick likes doing it, even though Gesicki is a beast. He's a monster.
Yeah, their offense isn't specifically designed to incorporate a lot of tight end work.
Gesicki plays in the slot more than he plays at tight end.
Yeah. So, I think that's a good call because Gesicki is going to be – we're going to get to tight ends later, but – there's not a lot to choose from this week at tight ends. I think a lot of people are going to go to Gesicki. So that's a good call.
Yeah.
I like that, Joe.
So, yeah, he's one of my fades, and that's why. And my other guy is Nick Foles against Carolina, like we just talked about earlier. Don't have to rehash that. The one game I'm really fading is the Cleveland-Pittsburgh game. I feel like both defenses are very strong. I feel like it's just going to be one of those games that, the points could rack up just like the Philly-Pittsburgh game did last week. I mean, it can happen. But I think Mayfield's going to have a hard time this week. I think Big Ben's going to, get it done this week, but I think he's going to have a hard time as well. Another guy Vinny turned me on to right before the pod started was Carson Wentz.
No, I did not.
Getting,
I mentioned it that I said I would.
I think
wanted to
as a dart. And let's just say this, guys. I picked Derek Carr as my dart last week, and everyone gave me a hard time because I've been on the Derek Carr hater train. Derek Carr was my punt, and he went nuts with Ruggs, and they were both 1% owned. I think Wentz could be in that position this week going against Baltimore. I'm talking a dart. I'm not talking I'm putting him in more than one lineup. Just a dart lineup and a GPP. I think Wentz against Baltimore. I don't know.
I'm not on it.
Why not?
I need to see, like, for sure. The two biggest things and the reason why it was, like, just kind of like a twinkle out there was Alshon Jeffrey and Deshaun Jackson might be back this week.
Yeah.
If they're back, he at least has, like, some pro players surrounding him with Fulgham as well. Then they've got Ertz, Miles Sanders, like, finally like a decent offense for Wentz, and everything says they're going to be.
And really, Wentz is putting up 20 points a game on average. For 5,600, he's getting you 4 times.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That was
Baltimore's tough, man. But he put up 20 points against Pittsburgh last week. So
I'll just go back to the thing that in order to win a GPP, you're probably going to need 30 plus points out of your quarterback, and I think that Carson Wentz can probably get to 20 to 22. Versus Baltimore, maybe. I don't think there's a snowball's chance in hell he gets over 30 this week.
No, definitely. And
no, right.
I'm not playing Wentz again.
I'm just saying for 5,600, if you really want to, because like we said, running backs, I think is going to get a little tough this week to fit all your guys in. And if you want one of those lineups with 2 better running backs, Wentz could be the guy. But then again, 200 more for Foles. I'm going to have way more Foles going than Wentz. I'll tell you that.
That's the thing. That's the thing with me. It's like I'll just if Carson Wentz is the reason why I don't win this week, then like, all right, that's fine. I'll just take that L.
Yeah, and the matchups.
I get the reasoning though.
The matchup's obviously not good, and I see why you're going Foles there. Again, the only reason why I had him like as lightly chalked up as possible is just because, again, if you're getting Alshon and Deshaun back, like, you can at least compete, and, Deshaun pops one, and if they're trailing, like, that's just upside. So,
yeah, and they do get to play at home.
Like a Foles, so that was it.
Yeah, and Wentz gets to play at home this week, and that's another little positive. I know the fan thing isn't huge this year, but I do think being your home stadium makes a difference.
The other thing with that is I do think the Eagles come out kind of humming this week, and it's just simply with Dak going down in that division. Like, this is the Eagles' division to win. Like, there's no more BS. Like, they have no excuses. Like, they got to get some wins under their belt. So, I don't know. Again, that was like the 0.1% flyer. Like, in terms of, are you through your guys, Joe?
Yeah.
So I'm with you guys. Love Rodgers. I will have him on a ton of lineups. I just think he's at this point, like you said, he's on a tour of just madness right now, and there's just no stopping him. So cue me up some Aaron Rodgers for sure. I'm on Stafford as well, Joe. The reason being, I think that game has like really shootout potential because both defenses are just atrocious. Detroit is one of the worst defenses in the league, and so is Jacksonville. So, give me that with 2 quarterbacks that like to sling it. Like, all right, like I'm interested there. With that, I do like some Minshew. I mean, he's been hovering around 22, 25 points a game, like pretty consistently. I think if DJ Chark is out, like that obviously is not great for him, but I think that will also get like whatever ownership was going to go his way is gone.
Well, the last time Chark was out, that game was horrendous by Minshew. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was obvious that Chark was gone. So if Chark's out this week, that scares the shit out of me.
It does. However, the one thing I looked up today is Jeff Okudah, their number one pick, the Lions, has the worst coverage grade in the NFL.
He's so bad.
Yeah, he's
So
not transitioning very well.
So bad.
I'm gonna play a few Minshew anyways. Obviously, if Chark's in, I'm in on that. If he's not, my favorite receiver is still Chenault in that game. So I will play some Chenault and Keelan Cole and bring it back with Galladay, and throw a dart on that game stack. So I'm not opposed to Minshew at all. I do like my other kind of like sneaky plays. I think everyone you said is going to go towards Derrick Henry, and I'm going to lean more Ryan Tannehill. Tannehill looks good, dude. He is playing really well. With A.J. Brown back, they said they're going to get back Humphreys and Corey Davis this week as well, probably off the COVID list. Like,
yeah,
I'm in. And Jonnu Smith, like, that offense is like legit. And I don't think they like have to lean on Henry, which is part of the reason why he's not getting, like, he got 22 carries, not 35 last game.
Yeah,
like,
and honestly,
I think they're trusting
Tannehill's
Tannehill
play
more.
action is one of the best play actions I've seen in the NFL in a long time, and it could be have a lot to do with Henry, obviously. But Tannehill in play action, I feel like every time he pulls that ball up, it's going to be a completion over the middle for 20 yards. I mean, Tannehill is a monster with it.
For sure. And, I just think he's got sneaky blow-up potential, and I like that if I can go there and get off the Henry chalk but still stay a part of that offense. Like, that's, to me, a little bit sneaky. So I'll have some Tannehill for sure. I'm really on the fence with Brady. I don't really know what to play there. I mean, if we think Rodgers is going to continue going scorched earth, like, Brady has shown he can go 3-4 touchdowns this year. Godwin might be coming back. Like, Scotty Miller, who didn't have a catch and screwed everybody out last Thursday, should be better. But, I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on Brady?
I think if Evans and Godwin are both active, I then have some interest in Brady. If they're both not active, or if one of them is inactive, I don't know. Yeah. So my issue with Brady is the Packers have actually been getting pretty good pressure on the quarterback, and Brady is just a freaking statue.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't even wait for or like try to get out of the way. He just like crumple down like Woody in Toy Story when a human walks in the room. He just like his legs go out and it just like gets down real quick. And
for sure,
look, the Packers have been bringing good pressure. They blitz a lot. They have one of the highest blitz percentages out of any defense in the league.
But that's where I do think, like, yes, he needs all of his weapons back for me to like lock that in. But that's the one thing in his career Brady will shred, is if a team's bringing pressure like that. So I do like that. I also kind of like the sneaky bounce back. I mean, the last image we have is Brady like forgetting what down it was and blowing the game versus the Bears. Like, when's the last time that happened, like, back-to-back in a Brady game? Like, for some reason, something tells me this guy's just, like, I don't know, just been eating avocado ice cream and, like, watching film nonstop for, like, 10 days. Like, he's going to be ready to rock. So, if we like Rodgers, I just feel like, you have to kind of be a little bit interested in the other side of that game. So
yeah, I mean, you do, right? But it doesn't mean you have to be interested in Brady.
You don't, but I guess what I'm getting at is he's $1,000 less than Rodgers. Like, you could easily go Rodgers, Evans, or Godwin and Adams and load up that game stack.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Brady can get there. I don't know. It's just not for me this week. In order for me to reconsider, this is coming out on a Friday. Like I said, if Evans and Godwin are in, then I'm in. More so, if Godwin's in, I'm in, because they can bring him down into the slot. I don't know why they just decide to not bring Mike Evans into the slot more, because he can play really well. Him and Jameis Winston did a lot of damage over the deep middle in the 20 to 40 yard zone. I don't see them doing any of that this year. I went back and watched a couple games, and I mean, he's strictly running stuff on the outside. He'll run those little, like, little in routes and stuff toward the goal line and have some like 1 yard touchdowns. But when they're out in the middle of the field, they don't run very many over the middle routes with him. It's all deep, which is fine. But I mean, he's a big body.
I think Evans has been playing pretty banged up so far this season.
Yeah.
And it's kind of obvious that there's a lot of plays where he's in the game, but he's not really in the play.
Mhm.
There's a lot of moments like that with Evans, like they're just sticking him on the outside just to, give him a play off or whatever. And
For sure.
I just think he's really banged up right now. And that's why he gets those 1 yard, 2 yard catches, because he can make those plays. But running down the field, I think last week we saw him pull up on a play on a 9 route where he pulled up, all a little gingerly, but he kept playing, and Evans worries me, but you're right. If Godwin's in, I do like a Brady Godwin stack. Godwin was out with a concussion. It's not like he was out with a knee injury or an ankle injury or something like that.
Yeah.
So when he's back, he's back.
Yeah.
And Godwin definitely has that big play potential. So, and
Yeah.
we see Brady's arm is live this year, man. I'm just scared of Green Bay a little bit. I think that defense is really solid.
I am too. I think they're on a mission this year, and if on mobile quarterbacks a little bit. I mean, you saw with Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan's just a statue, and the Packers just absolutely destroyed him.
The
Tampa
Packers
Bay's,
got good corners, man. They'll cover well and make you sit back there and wait for someone to get open, which that's what scares the hell out of me too.
Yeah.
So